10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, I'm Utkarsh Tandon and I welcome you once again to this interactive post-match analysis session. And today it was Mumbai Indians up against the Kolkata Knight Riders, where Mumbai Indians just sealed away the match, which turned out to be a one-sided contest. KKR giving no competition, or rather no fight. Just hours before the match, KKR had a change in their leadership as Dinesh Karthik stepped down as the captain, while Owen Morgan took over the new duties. KKR won the toss and opted to bat first, having a terrible start, losing 2 wickets in the power play with the score of 33 for 2. Then came the eighth over of Rahul Chahar, where they lost two wickets, Gill and Dinesh Karthik, in two consecutive balls. Dinesh Karthik was just terrible, I would say, because he played a rash shot when it wasn't needed, and especially when Shubman Gill got out in the previous ball. So that sweep shot wasn't needed against the turn of Rahul Chahar. He got out. Then Andre Russell came in, and then it was the brilliance of Rohit Sharma, the captain. He brought in his ace bowler, Jasprit Bumrah, straight forward against Andre Russell, and Andre Russell has two weaklings. One, it's the bouncer aimed at his right leg. Mind you, it's not the left leg, not his forward leg, his back leg, that is his right leg. Uh, Yorker aimed at his right leg, and a bouncer bowled into his body, coming or rather hitting the badge of his helmet. And Bumrah was spot on as he got rid of Andre Russell with a quick bouncer into his body, crammed him for a room, and KKR was suddenly half down as they lost their 5 wickets. But then it was skipper Owen Morgan who staged a good partnership with Pat Cummins, who scored a swift half century, and both remained unbeaten, taking KKR to 148, which was a respectable total. I thought the momentum which KKR gained with the partnership of Pat Cummins and Owen Morgan, they will take it forward in their second innings as they come to bowl. But it was the skipper Rohit Sharma and Quinton de Kock as they were on rampage when they started their second innings. They took every bowler, and it was a tactical mistake on the part of Owen Morgan as well, not bringing in spinner Chakravarti at the start, because Rohit Sharma is vulnerable at start against the spinners, and it is the only time when you can get Rohit out. But at the same time, Quinton de Kock was also playing his shots. KKR bowlers bowled to the strengths of Quinton de Kock and Rohit Sharma as they were banging in short or giving room outside off stump to cut the ball. And most of the shots played by Rohit and Quinton were cut and pull. So it was a mistake on the part of KKR's bowlers, especially Prasidh Krishna, who was clobbered by both the batters all over the park. Then in the 10th over, Varun Chakravarti was brought into the attack, and he took 2 wickets in quick succession in 11th and 14th over. Rohit Sharma and Surya Kumar Yadav respectively. But after that, Hardik Pandya came in. He played some beautiful shots, scoring 21 of just 11 deliveries. And he also mentioned the bat which he used. He's using it for 3 years now, and I hope this bat proves lucky for him. Quinton de Kock made good 78 of 44 deliveries, and Quinton and Hardik both remained unbeaten. And MI pulled off a victory of 8 wickets, which was very much needed for KKR, but they weren't able to gain the victory. It was MI, and now they moved to the top of the table, having 12 points, same as Delhi Capitals, but they are ahead of DC in the net run rate. So now I'll add Rahul Ramugade. Hello and warm welcome, Rahul. Just to introduce Rahul, he's a para cricketer and captain of Maharashtra cricket team, also a member of Indian national team in wheelchair cricket. So a warm welcome, Rahul. How are you?
Thank you so much. Yes, I am fine. How are you?
I'm good too. I'm good too. So I know MI is your favorite team, and you've watched the full match. So how
Yeah,
was the match? Was it really a contest, or it was just one team show?
right. You can call it one team show, but well, when they started, MI Rahul Trivedi was hitting. Shubman Gill also hit two fours. So I thought it will go longer, but on the third over when we got Rahul Tripathi out, then I got to know that it's going to be our match, and we have taken 4 wickets in 42 only there. So we should appreciate Ian Morgan and Pat Cummins. So they pulled over and fight back to reach 148. It is a respectively total. But Decock was on another level today. He was in his zone. He have to hit everything. I felt that Rohit Sharma also got some complex today because Decock was hitting too well and Rohit was fighting to connect it ball. So it was great match and one-sided match as you said.
Yeah. So another very strange decision to change the captaincy because the KKR was in a good position in the points table as well at number 4. They pulled off some good close victories, couple of good victories in the recent past. All and Captain Dinesh Karthik was also back in form in the
Right,
recent couple
right,
of games. So,
right.
was it wise decision to change the captain and handing it over to Owen Morgan, who himself wasn't in a good touch?
Right, right. Actually, I didn't get that decision right. So, if you trust a one person, one player for around 2.5 years, right? He is the captain of KKR. So you should continuously trust him for 7 games at least. Why you want to change it? It ऐसे लगता नहीं है सामने कि yes, it will affect your team, but it can affect your team. But I don't know why
Oh,
didn't that happen. So it has happened with Mumbai in 2013. Rohit Sharma took the captaincy from Ricky Ponting, and it's another story. But everyone is not Mumbai Indians. Everyone is not Mumbai Indians and Rohit Sharma. So we have to be
yeah,
careful. You
and
not should not. Yes, yes,
And just to mention that Ricky Ponting was not the captain for so much time, but DK was the
right.
captain for almost 2.5 years.
Yes, yes. So they should not do it. They should trust DK. And DK was a part of our Mumbai Indians also in 2013, I guess. So he was a great player. He's a good thinker of a game. He's also captain Tamil Nadu also sometime. So he's a good player. You should trust him. So just like the memes are circulating there when Decock dropped the catch and Bumrah just appreciated not but भड़का नहीं बुमराह उस पे. So and the Cock scored super 70 plus not out today. So it's just you have to trust the players, give them a confidence they will fire. You should not fire someone or you should not get pressurize someone to pull off or do you focus on your batting. See, Karthik said he wants to focus in his batting and he gave it the captaincy. And how stupid shot he has played today. So I
Yeah,
don't think it
very
will.
good.
Yes,
Was really disappointed the way Karthik played that shot, especially when you have Shubman Gill getting out on the previous delivery,
right.
and
Previous delivery. Yes.
you're playing a leg spinner outside of stump. You're going for a slog sweep against the turn in a situation
Right.
where you're 3 down. It was ridiculous from the
Right. And
Karthik
finally
side.
also was not in the circle that time. I guess he was on the boundary. So it will be single only, not a four. So for
Yeah,
single, you have to
correct.
take that
Spot
much
on.
risk. That's bad. Yes. Right.
Spot on.
I'm happy, but he's not playing for MI.
Spot on. Spot on. Uh,
Yes.
another thing. What you will say to the not about the bowling of Mumbai Indians, as they were spot on except for the last few overs when Pat Cummins and Owen Morgan hit them, but
Right. Right.
for but the KKR's bowling, as they were clueless, they were pathetic bowling by KKR. What you will
Yes.
say
But
on that? But
yes,
before that, I have
starting.
a question in the comment box. I'll take that.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, what do you think? Does KKR, Rajasthan, KXIP, SRH have a chance to secure fourth spot, or you still show belief on KKR for fourth? Uh, first, take first.
My I thought Kings 11 Punjab will make it. CSK and SRK I'm not sure. RR also I'm not sure. They can fire also, they are not. But I trust
Yeah.
KL Rahul too much, so I think Kings 11 can make it. I will take it them as an underdog, but I hope they should make it. They deserve. Mayank Agarwal and KL Rahul. They deserve to be playing in playoff.
I still feel somewhere around KKR and SRH that they'll make, but for
No,
CSK and Kings 11, I'm skeptical. I still don't feel KXIP will make it because they're still the
yeah,
bottom feeders with I think 4 points, and
yes,
I'm still skeptical that I hope that they do well in the rest of the tournament. But
right,
according to me, making to the playoffs is still a difficult one for them, difficult task.
right, right. That's why I'm supporting them. I like underdog.
Yeah, yeah. So now Morgan being made captain, now it will be compulsory to give him all the remaining matches, even if he doesn't perform. So don't you think that a regular player like Gill or Russell should got captaincy?
No, no, no. I guess Morgan will play every matches with not about it, but DK should not be removed. That's I feel.
Uh, I have a different take on this because I feel Morgan was still not in that form. So I also think that Morgan shouldn't have been given the captaincy because
Right,
he wasn't in the finest of his touches, and
right,
if he doesn't perform well, if he doesn't perform well, I think KKR will be in a trouble whether to drop him or not. If you
right.
were looking for future captain, then maybe Gill was a better choice. If you are thinking of future captain to
Future
groom,
captain. Yes, yes, yes.
then Gill would have been a better choice, is what I
Right,
feel. So
right.
now I'll add up the fans as well.
Yes.
So I have with me Ayushi, Devang, and Anurag. A warm welcome to all of you. We're live in the show. And
Hello.
just
Thanks,
and
Utkarsh. Hello, sir.
I'm really sorry for interrupting. I'm really sorry.
Hmm.
Monty Paji is joining us within two
Oh, great.
minutes. Within two
Oh,
minutes, I
super.
just got a text from him. I just got a text from him. He's joining within 2 minutes.
Right.
So please be ready. Until that, Ayushi, Anurag, and Devang can speak what they want to. Just one line.
I think Mumbai played really well today, but of course, KKR was the weaker side, and that it's like they handed over the victory to them, according to me.
Okay.
See, my
Okay.
my
So
opinion
I
is about
so
I think I
before uh,
think the
before
I
before
think
you
the
speak, Anurag, I'd like to introduce another very special guest, and he's none other than Mr. Sirish Nadkarni. Welcome, sir. He's an international sports journalist and an sports analyst as well. Welcome, sir. Warm welcome.
Thank you very
How
much.
are you?
Thank you. Well,
And
at the moment I'm on cloud nine because I am a supporter of Mumbai Indians.
yeah,
Super.
yeah, and sir, don't you feel that uh, being a supporter of Mumbai Indians as well, but don't you feel that had it been an even contest, it would have been more thrilling and exciting?
Maybe. I don't care. If Mumbai Indians continues to win like this, I am very happy. Especially
Okay.
since I've got some. Unfortunately, Monty Bai doesn't seem to be here. But otherwise, I would
No,
have asked him what
he is
is.
coming. I've received a text from him. He is joining just in 2 minutes,
Ah, okay. Then
and
I'll save the question
he,
for him. But
just I
otherwise,
have I
sorry.
have him
Otherwise,
now.
all I would like
I
to say is that Mumbai Indians has got the great advantage of having the top six batsmen all scoring in excess of 150 runs.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
in fact, somebody like Kiran Pollard has not even got a chance to bat the number of balls he needs to face, especially in
Okay.
the later stages of the tournament. That might make a difference. So that's one shortcoming. I think maybe in the next match they should try and send Pollard up to number four or
Two down, yes.
four balls to play
So
because I
I'm
think.
sorry.
Sorry,
I'm
yeah.
really
Go ahead.
sorry, Shri sir, for intervening. But now I have Paji with us, so I'll take all of you off guard and we'll rejoin in just 10 minutes.
Okay.
Sat Sri Akal, Paji, how are you?
Yeah, Sat Sri Akal. Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Paji, how was the game? A one-sided contest, Mumbai Indians running all over Kolkata Knight Riders.
Yeah, look, it was a perfect performance from Mumbai Indians. They seem like the team which is going to win the tournament comfortably the way they're playing. Like they've got the combinations right, like I talked about yesterday. Jasprit Bumrah versus Andre Russell. You save your big bowlers against their sort of big players, and they just doing everything. Everything is just spot on for them.
Yeah. So talking about the decision which just came hours before the match, change in captaincy. Uh, KKR was going all good, fourth in the points table, won close couple of games in the recent past, and Captain DK was also back in form for the last couple of games. So, do you think it was the right time to hand over the captaincy to Owen Morgan, who still himself wasn't in a good touch in the middle of the tournament?
Yeah, look, it's quite surprising to see that KKR handed captaincy halfway through the tournament. I don't think it was really necessary, to be honest. I thought DK was doing a really good job under that sort of guidance, and I halfway changing leadership. It just like they played today. I don't even know why. They had the off spinner playing today. Green. It was just like. You can't even get into a NatWest T20 team, and he gets into the IPL team. It's like it's strange, strange decision making. But it's I just it's risky, isn't it? Changing captaincy halfway through.
Yeah.
What if they don't make it into the playoffs now? What if they start? They sort of don't start losing a few games, and then suddenly. Owen Morgan, his place is under threat.
Yeah. And definitely, if you have Owen Morgan as captain and if he's not performing, so how can you just drop Owen Morgan, the captain, means another shift in captaincy? How will you do that? So this is the ridiculous part that comes.
I look, these halfway through, if they were like at the bottom of the table, then it makes sense. I just thought, I felt DK was doing something very similar to Dhoni, calm under pressure, and they were doing okay. They didn't need to make such a huge change. And, Owen Morgan started saying, oh, it was a selfless, DK was being selfless. I think Owen Morgan could have actually been selfless and said, actually, I don't want the captaincy.
Yes. Being a senior player, he could have done the same, as you mentioned. It's only the 9th time in the history of IPL when a captain is being changed in the middle of the tournament. It's only the 9th time, just to remind.
And have you had any of them times they've gone to win the competition?
Just Rohit Sharma in 2013. When he took. But Paji, in that case, also I have a question that DK was being groomed for 2.5 years as a captain, but Ricky Ponting wasn't a captain for a very long time. But DK was being groomed for 2.5 years. So that also is a difference.
Yeah, it is. It is the difference. But when you make big changes, you do it because it's going to help you. In the future. Like you said, 4th in the table. was it really necessary? That's the question I asked. And it wasn't. No need to change the captaincy.
And Paji,
And why is Green playing? I don't understand.
My set of questions had this one as well, but just last question relating to captaincy, that if you were in a need to change the captaincy, you would have gone for a young gun, so that at least you groom him for future. That could
Well,
have been
this is it.
yeah.
This is the whole thing. You look at DC; they've got a young captain there, and under Ricky Ponting, it's all working really well. Brendan McCullum, why did he wanted Owen Morgan to become captain? Because he probably feels a lot more comfortable. They're really good mates. With DK, he's always that frustration of like, we'll ask Owen Morgan, but we have to go to DK. But look, if Kolkata don't have a good season now,
Okay.
I think the coach and the captaincy position could be under threat. That's a big risk they're taking. Now, it's up to them, but I thought a better decision should have been, and what would have been better was, like you said, if they did want to change the captaincy, do it next year and bring in a young captain, where then Owen Morgan, teaches him, how to captain the team. But halfway through, I think it's very risky. They've got to make the playoffs.
Yes, and KKR elected to bat first. Owen Morgan elected to bat first. They were 2 down in the power play, and then came the 8th over of Rahul Chahar, which actually made a difference, where Shubman Gill got out, and then in the successive delivery, Dinesh Karthik got out. Today he got a chance to bat at number 4 without any pressure of the captaincy, but played a very rash shot, sweeping the ball against the turn just for a single. When Shubman Gill got out on the previous ball, you were 3 down. So what's your take on that?
Well, this is it. This is the sort of this is where you're thinking that it's just the way they're batting, the way they're performing. They were like 5 for 78 at one point. You're thinking, well, they're going to get bowled out here for one, and luckily, Pat Cummins and Owen Morgan both kind of got a good score together. If you're an IPL coach, one of the art of being a coach is to get the best out of the Indian young players, because it makes a huge difference to the team. And that's the bit where Brendan McCullum is failing. He really needs to work out, right, what is my strategy here? If I believe in the overseas players, which he's obviously doing, then bring them up the order. Why is Owen Morgan back? Maybe 3. Pat Cummins comes at 5. Really sort of, back. That's how I want to go about it. He's sort of just trying to tick all the boxes, but I get the feeling that he's happier with the sort of overseas players, winning the games for Kolkata. But I'm not sure if he knows how to build a younger team coming through, being the foreign, being the Indian young players. And I don't know if he's the right person to coach Kolkata Knight Riders.
Okay. And then moving to Andrew Russell, because again he failed. Again he did not make any impact, and the weakness again was a bouncer into the body at a good height, where he was crammed for room, and eventually got out, just giving a catch to Quinton de Kock. Rohit Sharma's brilliance as captain, as he brought straight forward Jasprit Bumrah in, his ace bowler in for Andre Russell. So again, anything for Bumrah, as he really picked up and got rid of Andre Russell?
It's not that Andre Russell's place isn't under threat. He knows he's going to play all the IPL games. Now, he hasn't really performed, we haven't really seen the best of Andre Russell. And he needs to feel under threat. He needs to feel under pressure from another player in the team and think, actually, they can't drop me. It's, I just think that, where can you get the best, if we're going to play, let's say if we play Andre Russell every game now, right? Andre Russell's going to play for every game. He should open the batting. I genuinely believe he should open the batting in the first 6 overs and just go hell for leather, and that's it.
Yes, you can actually think out of the box. It's T20.
No, I think you have to in UAE. You have to do things which are different. And that's what they need to do. Like if I was Brendan McCullum right now, I'll be thinking, right, okay, I've changed the captaincy. I want Andre Russell, top of the order, mate. Just go for it. Go and hit a few boundaries. We need you to get a score, and try and be a bit smart about it. Don't go for hell for leather. Just see if you can bat for 6 overs for us. Do you know what I mean? You got to try something different.
Yeah. So my last question before adding up the guests, because I'll not talk much about Mumbai because they were actually on a rampage and dominated KKR. My last question is that Chris Green played today, but you have Kuldeep Yadav on the bench, and last year also you did the same. You in a couple of matches he was clobbered and then you dropped him for whole of the tournament. You are doing the same this year. So is Kuldeep Yadav an inferior bowler than Chris Green? Kuldeep Yadav, who plays for the Indian national team.
It's to do with the attitude of the coach. Brendan McCullum doesn't believe Kuldeep Yadav is one of the best spinners. He doesn't believe that. Now, this was my point. If you want to coach an IPL team, one of the criteria to be a good coach is to get the best out of the Indian players. Because the team has to be built. There'll be certain passages of play in the T20 match where the Indian spinner or the Indian batsman or the Indian young under 19 has to come into play. It's just part of a successful team. Every team has it, apart from Kolkata Knight Riders. Well, they have the young seamers, right? But they're the two bowlers who are the same. The very same type of bowlers. If I'm a batsman like Quinton de Kock today, he got going. He went after both of them.
Yes.
Right?
Today they were all guns blazing.
Yeah, they were all gun blazing. Now you need to have variety. You need to have variation in your attack. You got Chris Green. Like you're kidding me, right? There must be a better overseas. Chris Green would not get into the T20 Blast team in England. He would not get into the. He would not. No, he wouldn't. And he's getting into the IPL team, like
where the competition is much stiffer. I would say where the competition. And why not Varun Chakravarti bowling in the power play against Rohit Sharma, who is a bit vulnerable against leg spin in the start?
Well, look, I can't emphasize you more. This is the one thing I think Brendan McCullum needs to work out, right? Which young Indian player am I going to develop in the pressure situation? Which one is it? Right, that's the one. I back this guy. And when it comes to certain parts of bowling, batting, whatever it is, we need this guy because you can't do it with overseas players. It just doesn't work. It does not work. Everyone has to do their bit. And I don't think Brendan McCullum knows how to get the best out of the young Indian players.
Okay. So now, Paji, today we have another special guest for you. One is Rahul Ramugade. He is a para cricketer of our Indian national team and also the captain of our para Maharashtra state team. And alongside him, I have Mr. Sirish Nadkarni, sir, who is an international sports journalist. So both of you are live.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you. I've seen you bowling here in India, and of course, you were a sensation out here when you were in the Test team. And I thought you retired far too early.
Well, I haven't retired. I
Yes.
see if I can make a comeback next year. But you know,
Oh, that's good to know. That's great to know. That's great to know.
We hope to
Well,
see you in
I
IPL
have,
next year, sir.
yeah, sorry.
I don't know. That'll be very difficult. But I hope so. You never know. If Chris Green can play, so yeah, I think I've got a chance as well.
Right,
Definitely,
definitely.
definitely.
Relating to spinners, I had one question for you. A guy who wins the purple cap last year, who takes 26 wickets in the entire tournament, doesn't find a place in the IPL team this year, although he's there. You know whom I'm talking about.
Yes.
What's the thinking? And it hasn't taken CSK to the top half of the table. It's kept them firmly at the bottom. And in fact, another person who should have been in the team right from the start and wasn't, but made an instant impact when he was brought in. That was yesterday, Chris Gale. See what's happened to Kings 11 Punjab because of that. What is your take on this? What would be the thinking behind keeping these two classy players back?
Well, one thing is age. The other thing is how long would they keep playing for us? What's the genuine replacements in the team? And you look at the makeup of CSK. You have Ravinder Jadeja, holds decent spin and is a good batter. Then you have Chawla, he's a good like leggy as well. Now you're thinking, why am I not playing Imran Tahir? What's the reason behind it? And you know what the problem is? Sam Curran. Because Sam Curran is a young cricketer who's doing well. He's batting well, bowling well, and Dhoni needs the batting because the batting has, the other batsmen are not firing. So he's thinking, well, I've got to play Sam Curran because the likes of Ravinder Jadeja, Dwayne Bravo, then he's got Vijay Murli hasn't really performed this year. Then Anibati Raidu needs to be performing. So he's thinking, guys, man, the experienced campaigners are not really performing, so I need to play Sam Curran. So then Sam Curran has effectively taken Imran Tahir's place because the batting hasn't been strong. So because of this year's batting and some of the players haven't been in form, unfortunately, Imran Tahir cannot play because it just makes the CSK batting, too weak.
Right.
I see. Okay. I thought he may have taken the place of Shane Watson because Watson wasn't performing earlier. And even now, he's performing only in fits and starts. He's had one great innings where CSK won by 10 wickets. But otherwise, he's been laboring. Don't you think so?
Yeah, but then, you can't take Shane Watson out of the game. He bowls a bit. He's a good catcher. But,
He hasn't bowled. He hasn't bowled a ball.
Yeah, I know, but it's that option, isn't it? Like he's there for his batting, right? And he's a good batsman. This is something Stephen Fleming needs to work out. It's an aging team. Which of the players do I keep? Which of the players do I let go? I think they haven't got a really big auction coming again, so they probably played with the same group of players next year, possibly. And they've got to think does Imran Tahir feature for next year? He may have. Maybe had the purple cap, but why? Why did Imran Tahir take so many wickets? And sometimes it's a combination of a few other players that help you make you that performance.
True.
And
True.
I believe because the batting hasn't really fired up, Imran, when Shane Watson bats really well, you can afford to play Imran Tahir. If then Shane Watson isn't batting as well, then Dhoni himself isn't batting that great. So, you look at their batting, it hasn't been great, So you have to, he goes, well, I have to pick an all-rounder who can bat a bit. And Sam Curran is actually batting well. So he's like, well, I can't drop Sam Curran now. And I want to play him. He's a match winner for us. But I can't get him in the team because I'm worried about the batting getting too weak. And that's the issue that Dhoni has at the moment. And he's going with, he needs to get Imran Tahir back in form, back in that team, he actually needs the likes of Ravinder Jadeja, Anibati Raidu. These sort of players, they need to come in there and actually perform and bat really well. So it kind of thinks, right, which overseas player can I drop now?
Mm.
And which player would that be? Because Sam Curran will stay in, Watson definitely stays in, Dwayne Bravo stays in. They're the three.
Faf du Plessis stays in.
So
Faf
Fab
has been doing
Duplessis.
well. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so Fab. See, can you see now?
Yeah. Well, even Dwayne
Where
Bravo.
do you get Imran Tahir? Where does he come in?
Yeah, I would have put him in
From
Watson's
Bravo, I
place,
guess.
but that's Dhoni's really, maybe he shores up the batting with an Indian player, but you're right. It's a big conundrum for Dhoni. But what about Chris Gale?
Sorry?
What about Chris Gale? Gale
Well,
Force, the universe boy.
Well, he was universal, but halfway through it, he wasn't universal. You were like thinking, this is the end of Chris Gale. That's the last time we're going to see of him. And then suddenly he clicks into gears, hits a few boundaries, and suddenly now everyone's sort of raving about him. And I think that's how far away you are. If you're not in form, you just need a few boundaries, like of Andre Russell. Get a few boundaries away. Suddenly he'll produce his best performance. Shane Watson, Dwayne Bravo, Ravindra Jadeja, Dhoni. They just need that. Do a bit of what Chris Gale has done, and suddenly it's a different ball game. And that's why it makes it so difficult, T20 cricket, to make these wholesome changes, which I'm really surprised with Kolkata Knight Riders to completely change the captaincy.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'll move to Rahul if he has any questions. So Rahul, you're live now. If you have any questions, you can go ahead.
About Rahul Chahar, how you feel? How is growing up for Mumbai Indian as a player? Because I feel he bowled superbly today.
Look, he is bowling well because he's a type of player. You put him in a team that is struggling, and he will be exposed. He's a good player in a team that is doing well. So that's why when you talk about good spinners, I like that young under-19 spinner, playing for King 11 or Ashwin. Team isn't doing that great, but they're under pressure to perform. He knows he's playing in a good team,
Ravi Bishnoi, right?
Yeah.
Ravi Bishnoi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll move to Rohan now. So, Rohan, welcome to the show. You're live now. If you have any questions, go ahead. Please unmute yourself first. Switch on your mic.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So first of all, thanks for having me in such a great panel which we have today. And my question would be, I in the afternoon I was listening to Akash Chopra. I'm not a great fan of him, but he had a great point. He was saying that having Owen Morgan as captain of KKR is a big risk because he's not performing, and having a foreign player being a captain, you cannot leave him. You cannot make him sit in the dugout because he's your captain. So what if he doesn't perform in the full season? How would be KKR going through with he not performing? And will we see KKR in the top 4 this year or not?
Well, with today's performance, and if you're picking Chris Green as one of the overseas players, I can see KKR being bottom of the table. Absolutely ridiculous. They changed the captaincy, which is great. They haven't got the young, Chinaman, left arm spinner who's is going to pose so much threat, a different variation, hasn't played yet. And Owen Morgan, you can't afford now. If KKR, look, if they have a great season, fair enough. But Owen Morgan has to be there for next year as well, because it's just too many, there's too many holes to fill. So they've got to sit down and think. Like I'm sitting there thinking, why did they pick Chris Green as an overseas player? Actually, why is he even in the IPL?
Yeah.
Totally agreed to your point that, and I think Rohan joined us late because starting the session, we talked about the same point, that about the captaincy and the whole of the question which he mentioned. So now
Yeah,
I'll move
I
to
joined late.
okay. So now I'll move to Ayushi. Ayushi, most welcome. You're live in the show. You can go ahead.
Thank you, Utkarsh. And I think the panel is great, and the discussions happening today are extremely interesting. I just had a question. So after hearing about the change of captaincy, Gautam Gambhir made a statement saying that it takes an era to build a legacy and a minute to destroy it. What do you think would be the reason behind saying something like that? Like, what what do you think is the reason?
Look. End of the day, right? With any team, any management, right? It's about the coach, the captain feeling comfortable with the leadership positions. Brendan McCullum wanted Owen Morgan to be the captain from the start, right? That's what he wanted, and now he's got his wish. And now it's their responsibility now. If KKR have a great season, it will be them who will be applauding Brendan McCullum. Wow, what a great decision making halfway through the season, and he got us to the playoffs, made it to the finals. We'll be applauding him. But if he gets it wrong, there'll be a lot more people saying, why change when we're fourth in the table? DK was doing a great job. If you had to change, why didn't we review it end of the season and maybe do it next year? So they've put themselves, they've basically put them hanging themselves out dry now, and it's up to them. If they do well, we will be applauding them. I'll be the first one to say to Brendan McCullum, what a brave man Brendan McCullum was, to change the captaincy.
Yeah.
But if he gets it wrong, it's like, when you have a high risk shot, it's a green wicket and the ball's doing a bit. I need to leave the ball, but I'm going to play through the line. And that's what they're doing at the moment. They're playing on the up on a green wicket, and I think it's a high risk strategy.
A perfect example, I must say. A perfect example by Paji. So now I'll take a few questions from the comment box as well. And I have Yo Mahesh saying that KKR was KKR just cause of Gautam Gambhir, not their management. Their management, I guess, is worse than RCB. Gautam was a man of his words. He backed every player, gave them sense of security.
Look, Gautam Gambhir is Indian, right? He's born in India. He understands the culture. He understands how to handle the younger players coming through. You can see why he was successful. Now, Dhoni, another successful captain. He's won. Rohit Sharma, another successful captain. He's won so many, won the championship. Name me one overseas captain who has won the IPL.
Just David Warner and Adam Gilchrist and Shane Warne. Sorry,
Shane Warne.
Yeah, Shane Warne. Yep, David Warner.
But they all won it only once, not twice, or many times like Rohit Sharma, Dhoni, or Gambhir.
So history says to me, an Indian captain of the IPL team builds the legacy, builds the whole kind of what Gautam Gambhir talked about, because he's won it. He's won it a couple of times. He knows how to build the legacy. He knows how to build a team. So why not keep DK as a captain? History says that an Indian captain the legacy of that team lasts longer than an overseas captain.
Right.
Also, Gautam Gambhir was the one with the defensive, with not the defensive approach. He had the aggressive mindset. He actually had a short leg in the IPL. He was the first captain, maybe, to have a short leg in the IPL. And in his captaincy, only RCB were bundled out at 45 runs, if I'm not mistaken. So another question.
Monty Paji made a very, very impressive point on this, that an Indian captain is likely to get more out of any of these IPL teams than a foreign captain. History says so. I mean, 9 out of 12 have been won by Mumbai Indians 4 times, Rohit Sharma, 3 times CSK, Dhoni, and twice KKR, Gautam Gambhir. So 9 out
It's
of
9.
12 have been won by 3
Yes.
Indian captains. So I think that really reinforces the point that Monty made, that it was a bad decision on KKR's part to bring Ewan and Morgan in the middle of the IPL this season. Sorry, please carry on.
No. It was nice having your point. Aman has a question that Cummins has really batted well against India in Test. Should he come up the order?
Well, look, I think Andre Russell should open the batting. I think that if they go off to a flyer, great. But then Pat Cummins batted really well when they've lost a few wickets. You need him there. I tell you what, the better question would be: do not bowl Pat Cummins in the power play period. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Meaning do what Sunil Narayan used to do earlier. Come in and start just bashing the ball around, hitting over the top of the infield.
Yeah.
Is that the role you envisage for Pat Cummins, Monty, right?
Look, he's batting well, but he's not bowling well. You look at this UAE, IPL in the UAE, the teams that are being successful, their fast bowlers are bowling well. I'd rather have a quick fast bowler than have a quick fast bowler who's batting well. I don't want Pat Cummins to score a quick 50, but then go 4 overs the distance. That doesn't work well for me. Not on these UAE pitches. I'd rather have Pat Cummins bowl 4 overs, take 2 wickets for 24, and actually get a first ball duck.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have that, the Pat Cummins. I don't want the Pat Cummins who hits 6s and 4s, and then when he comes on to bowl, he's not as effective. He's the only overseas bowler who is actually going the distance, apart from Chris Jordan. And this year's IPL, every team, look at the Delhi Capitals. Delhi Capitals, you've got to be 20 runs ahead of the game because the last 4 overs, Rabada and his fellow South African teammate, they can win you the game. They'll win you the game fast.
Nokia.
Yeah. And Pat Cummins isn't doing that.
So basically, you want that Cummins should do what his forte is, just focus on his bowling and give good 4 overs, chipping in with wickets and also not proving to be much expensive. I think that's what your point is.
Yes, 4 overs from Pat Cummins is more valuable than him getting a 50 because he will win the game for KKR. If he bowls well and we know the capabilities of him. But this is what you got to decide. These are the complications that these coaches are going through. They're thinking, right, what do I need out of each player? What's the best bit to make this team? 11 players clicking together, winning a game of cricket. How do we win a game of cricket? This is Brendan McCullum is struggling at the moment.
Sorry to intervene in between. I would like to ask a question from the panel members that we have seen Dinesh Karthik batting up the order, doing opening for India. While we went for the 2013 Champions Trophy, in the practice matches we saw Dinesh Karthik batting with Shikhar Dhawan, and they have scored 100 as well. So we know that he can bat up the order.
200.
So 200 in 2 practice matches, and he didn't got a chance to open in the regular matches, in the main international matches. So why can't KKR do this thing that they can go with Shubman Gill and Dinesh Karthik batting up the order? And as Dinesh Karthik is not in his best form, he can get some runs in the beginning here as we have power play restrictions, and when he has that bat flow, then he can come down the order. He can bat down the order, and then the situation can be controlled by the team and by the captain Owen Morgan.
Have you seen him when he bowled when Jafra Archer bowled to DK? First ball, Nick.
I really understood where you are coming to, because you mentioned it earlier as well. He's gotten beat. He was beaten by pace
against genuine bowling, DK is pretty suspect. Yeah, I agree. I agree with
Yeah.
Monty Panesar on this.
Now coming to Shirish sir. Shirish sir, what's your take on this?
Take on what?
On
Take
On
DK
on
the
batting up
this
the order.
question. Yes.
on
DK
DK
batting up
Batting up
the
the order.
I think he cannot bat higher than 3 or 4. I don't think he should come in opening. They have other openers who can do much better. As Monty Paji suggested, have Andre Russell open the innings. They might get much more value out of it, especially in the first 6 overs, where he can really hit over the infield without any problem. That's my take.
Okay. And Rahul, your take on this?
Same. I also wanted to say Andrew Russell opening, just like Sunil Narayan was doing it for them. Let's try that.
And what I feel is
DK
Andrew
is
Russell
for
can.
what?
Sunil
Sorry.
Narayan was a bit of a circumspect, but Andrew
Right.
Russell can prove to be more useful than Sunil Narayan was. So now I have one more guest joining, Ayush Surve. Hello and a warm welcome. You're live in the show. You can ask your question.
His mic is muted though, as far as I can.
Please. Yeah.
There we go. Oh. Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Surve. Please carry on.
So yeah, all that's not the right time. It's the right time, but still good evening, everyone.
I'm sorry.
You're sounding like a professor.
You sounded like a man from Ringling Circus.
Use a earphone. The sound will get improved.
Yeah.
Okay, so is everyone knows the sound frame? Some disturbance.
Please get your voice mic issue sorted, and then I'll have you back. In the meantime, I'll please get yourself sorted. In the meantime, I'll ask. I have a question for you all. That what Mumbai did this season. Mumbai just had one change before this game, and that too a forced one. Saurabh Tiwari out for Ishan Kishan. Today they had another change just for the rotation policy of the pace bowlers, as the tournament is a 53-day long tournament. They brought in Nathan Coulter-Nile for James Pattinson. So, don't you think that backing players, and especially players like Quinton de Kock, who was not performing initially, but since past 3 games, he's been doing really well. So, backing players, do you think is a very important thing to go forward, in contrast to the teams like KKR or Rajasthan, who did a lot of chopping and changing?
I think Monty Pai, you should
Haji?
be answering this
Yeah,
question.
look. The thing is, right, when you got Kieran Pollard, who's their experienced player, you can afford to give the likes of Quinton de Kock a few more games, knowing that he may come good. You know, there's no guarantee. But with Kieran Pollard, who's the experienced campaigner, you see him. He's always in very important positions in the fielding. You know, fielding positions. He's always. You see him. He's taking the big catches, doing the sort of saving the runs. When he comes on to bowl, clever, smart bowler, get a couple bowl overs, and then when he's batting, you know, so aggressively, he's the anchor man of that team. And when you have such a strong depth, you know, you can afford to play. You can afford to play out of form Quinton de Kock, and then thinking, right, he'll come good. It's okay. We've got the youngsters in the middle order batting well. It's no pressure on him, and you don't have that pressure. You know, he doesn't. He knows that Mumbai Indians are backing him, and even if he doesn't score runs, it's okay. You know, we're winning games. We've got a good combination, and when you come good, then it just adds that complete performance. And today, you know, they won by 2 overs to spare. They were like, you know, this was like the most probably comprehensive victory of the IPL. And this is my whole point, that there's other teams out there, they struggle because that 6th, 7th position is someone who's played the IPL and knows how to win the game of cricket is that position. And someone like Glenn Maxwell, he's not doing that for Punjab Kings. You know, Punjab Kings get into a winning position, you put Glenn Maxwell in, they're like, well, we're going to lose it now in the next 4 or 5 overs because he's not getting over the line. And that's what do you do with Glenn Maxwell? So this is what Here's an example of Mumbai Indians when the combination is right. Certain key positions for an IPL team to be successful. That 6-7 position is like holds the team together kind of position. And Kieran Pollard is doing the best of that in the IPL this year.
I wanted to ask you one question. In comparison with previous IPLs, where there has been cutthroat competition right through until the final stages, final 2 or 3 games, where you just about get the top 4 coming out as the likely semi-finalists. This year, you've got 2 complete front runners, and none of the other teams seem, assured of a place in the top 4. Would you agree?
Yeah, look, I fully agree with you. And I think halfway through the tournament, what happens is certain teams will go off to a flyer, while others halfway through it, they will start understanding the pace of the wicket, the angles, playing without crowds. So there's certain adjustments you have to make. And there's certain teams like CSK now, they are suddenly finding their groove, clicking a little bit. Punjab Kings beginning to click. From a fan's perspective, it's brilliant. If I'm watching a Premier League match and I see let's say Man City play against Bournemouth, I'll be like, oh, I'm not going to watch that game because Man City is going to win, right? But the IPL isn't like that. Every result is becoming unpredictable now, and the only thing is left now is one team to beat Mumbai Indians, and suddenly you'll be like, wow, now the whole thing is wide open. It's only Mumbai Indians who are running away with it. But apart from that, I think the team has got a chance to be in the top 4.
True point.
Okay.
Point
So
made.
now Ayush typed this question and he's asking, should MI give Ishan Kishan a chance for wicket keeping too? But since we have Quinton de Kock, what's your take? Monty Paji and
if you're winning every game, maybe once you're qualified, mix it around a little bit, see what other combinations work. But that old saying is, if it's not broke, why?
Don't fix it.
Don't break a winning combination. As it is.
Also,
I
it's
feel
not
today
just-
because of
it's not
that.
just
Sorry to interrupt, but
qualifying,
I feel because of that catch, he dropped it. He felt the extra responsibility and took ballers from the start for go. I feel that also.
And Siri sir, what's your take?
I sort of. What were we talking about? We were talking about.
Ishan Kishan
Clinton
giving
de Kock
the
wicket
responsibility
keeping.
of
Yes. Monty Paji was saying that you can play around with the combination once you've qualified. It's not just qualified. I would say you must qualify in the first or second place so that you get 2 bites of the cherry. The rule. You don't qualify at 3rd and 4th and take a chance of getting knocked out in the eliminator. What do you think?
Yes.
I would say never disturb a winning combination unless you're qualified already as number 1 or 2. You get 22 points. Then your last 3 games, you can do whatever you want.
Mumbai were lucky. We disturbed today one bowler, and the replacement went for 52 runs. So they should learn.
But Rahul, in this, I have a different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nathan Coulter went for 52 today. I didn't notice that.
Yes, 4 over 52. Yes.
It was a part of the rotation policy that the Pacers are fresh for the whole of the tournament. So now taking last question of the day as we are running out of time. So I'll ask Rohan, Ayush and Ayushi if they have any question.
I have asked a question in comments if you can read that.
Okay. So Rohan has asked, no one would have expected James Pattinson to gel up so well as he has done. And he did wonders for MI this year and has gone completely unnoticed, under the radar. What's your take, Paji, and then Shirish?
He's not under the radar. We've seen his contributions. He's always got a wicket or 2. He's always done well. He's bowled extremely well at the death. Who says he's gone under the radar? I don't think he's gone under the radar.
Might
Do you?
be the
Yeah.
social media has not have many photos of him like Kishan Kishan or Surya Yadav have, so that might be he's thinking about that. But team
Paji, what's
management
your
is
take?
fully backing him for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think the
Agreed.
social media has got quite a few pictures of the fairly new father who mentioned today that he should be changing diapers instead of going dancing. Hardik Pandya.
And by the way, Hardik Pandya used his bat for 3 years now, and
Yeah, he
it's
said that.
coming good for him.
He said that.
Paji, what's your take?
Yeah, sorry, what's the question?
James Pattinson performing so well, gelling up so well in the Mumbai Indians camp, but still went unnoticed, as said by Rohan Sharma.
Do you think he went unnoticed? I think that's the question.
Yeah.
Well, I think James Patterson is I think he's a fast bowler. I don't think he's the most smartest, of cricketers it comes across. He needs. I think he would probably benefit a lot from just watching the likes of how are the other fast bowlers performing in the IPL. There's something about James Patterson where you just think, he's going to go the distance and he doesn't know what to do. You get this feeling from him, and if Mumbai Indians were in the final or a big match, James Patterson doesn't make my 11. I think he is the guy who will go the distance. He's got raw pace. I think he still needs to develop, think smartly about when to bowl the quick one, when to have the slower ball. That's my concern with him.
But don't you think that if batsmen tend to target him, as you are saying, in a tight match, the fact that he's bowling with the likes of Jasprit Bumrah and Trent Bolt, who are both outstanding bowlers. So if he gets targeted, it'll be something like what Viv Richards used to get in the past. You have these 4 huge demons, coming at you from both ends, and then Clive Lloyd chucks the ball to Viv and says, "Hey, have a couple of overs of your donkey drop." And everybody takes a chance at him, and he gets 2 to 3 wickets every time. It never fails.
Agreed. Yes,
Yeah.
Because he's replaced Mitch McClanahan, who was last year's, the overseas. And then he doesn't have Lasith Malinga this time. So, but bowling with Trent Bolt, who's a great addition to the Mumbai Indians list, and Jasprit Bumrah, I think that's given him tremendous confidence. And even the 2 spinners have been bowling so well that, if the batsmen try to target Pattinson, he's going to come up with 1 or 2 wickets, whatever happens. That's what I feel.
He is in top 10, I guess, in wicket taking. Yes.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah.
Yes, Paji, your take.
No, my take is that Trent Bolt has been a great transition. Great sort of. There's not other teams out there who are playing left armers. There's not left. There was one point every team was having a left armer, and now Trent Bolt is the only one who's been as successful. I think Mitch McClanahan should get a game at some point. He's a valuable member of the Mumbai Indians team. Possibly give some rest to Trent Bolt once they've qualified. But the question is, who would you pick, James Patterson or Trenton Coulter, if you had to pick out of them two to make your final 11? If it was a big match, semi-final or the finals, which would you go?
If you're asking me, my answer is I wouldn't move Quinton de Kock at all. He stays behind the wickets, and he comes at the top of the order with Rohit Sharma. You think about any of the others, but I would not move him. Sorry, sir, you're the expert. I'm not the expert. This is my take. What would be your...
My thing would be that I would go for Quinton Denal. He would. I would go for him instead of James Patterson.
So actually, sorry for intervening, but I think Shirish sir misconstrued the question. The choice was between Nathan Coulter-Nile and James Pattinson. Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
one or the other.
I'm
Which one
so
would you
sorry.
go
I'm
for?
so sorry. I heard it wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Between the two, between James Coulter-Nile, sorry, Nathan Coulter-Nile and James Pattinson, whom would you pick? Was that the question?
Yeah.
Well, I would pick
Yes.
Pattinson, I suppose. I don't know. Monty, you would be able to tell us whether Coulter-Nile has got better skills than Pattinson, in your opinion?
I just think Coulter can bat as well. You know, he can hit the
He's an
batting.
all-rounder. He's an all-rounder.
Yeah, look, it doesn't look. It's a luxury, isn't it? Mumbai Indians in a position where they can play with three overseas. They actually don't need, the fourth one. It's a luxury. It's a luxury. Whoever they go for, James Patterson or Coulter-Nile, it's up to them. They play both, any of them, they'll still win because they just look like they've covered all the other areas. So to me, it doesn't matter one or the other. I think they will still win the game.
Okay.
And you
Rahul,
also have
what's your
available, you said. So that he may also get in a game or two, right?
I think Mitchell, it's important, to give him a game as well because, I've been there as a squad member and you kind of think it's great to see the whole team winning. But last year I was part of the team. Maybe if I can get one game, just an outing, or once we've, qualified, give maybe Trent Bolt a rest, bring him in there. I think that would be a nice sort of option.
Okay, Rahul, your take on James Pattinson versus Nathan
I will
Coulter-Nile?
go for Pattinson only. If you are resting Trent Bolt, then I will think about Nettle Coulter-Nile. Otherwise, the Pattinson is the best because we need genuine bowler. We don't need all-rounder because we deep bat like we are mentioning Kiran Pollard. After that, our Pandya brother also comes, Hardik and Kunal. So Kunal can also bat. He has proved in Rajasthan match. He was so angry that he hit every ball he faces in that match, and he celebrated that because he wants to prove that yes, I am also here. Not only Hardik is there.
By the way, I have a funny comment. A very funny comment. Aman Yadav is saying Coulter-Nile was ex KKR player, so I think he has been replaced for this match only, where he gave 52 in 4 overs against KKR. Very funny comment there. So last time Ayushi and Ayush, last questions. Ayushi, do you have any questions?
None from my end.
So Ayush, I think
Still, your mic is making it.
He's still in the Ringaling circus. It still sounds like a lion.
yeah. So I think if you will type the question, it will be better.
Yeah, type the question. And you need to get your mic looked at tomorrow or changed, ideally.
Yes. In the meantime, all the viewers
Yeah, there's a question from him. No, it's not a question.
Please drop your email and contact number so that you are eligible for the lucky prize which you are distributing. So you are eligible for that. Just drop in your email and contact number.
In the chat box,
Sure.
right?
That's great to listen.
Yes. So you can drop it. By the way, I have the question from Ayush. I'm reading it out. Okay, he's writing it. Writing his question. But in the meantime, I want the top four of Paji, Rahul, and Shirish. Shirish sir, what will be your top four? Who will actually make the playoffs for you? Paji to start.
I obviously think it'll be Delhi Capitals, Mumbai Indians. I can see RCB, getting over the line, and it's between I think Chennai Super Kings, Rajasthan Royals, and Punjab Kings 11. I reckon it's going to be between them three for that final spot.
Okay. If it's my
Rahul?
turn. Sorry.
No, Shirish,
Rahul.
go ahead. No,
Go ahead.
Shirish, I was in here.
Go ahead,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Mumbai Indians, second is Delhi, third is RCB,
Yes.
and fourth, I will not sure about CSK or Punjab. I am betting on Punjab that they can still do it.
So you're actually betting on the bottom feeders, KXIP and Chennai
Yes,
Super Kings.
CSK might.
Really good
CSK
to
because
listen
I'm also one. Yes.
backing the underdogs, backing the underdogs. So Shiri
Yes.
sir, go ahead.
Yes.
Well, my choice is Mumbai Indians in the first spot, Delhi Capitals behind them, RCB and CSK. Remember CSK's record of never having failed to make the playoffs in the 10 seasons that they played. They were banned for 2 seasons. So out of
Right.
12, they've played only 10, but they've made the playoffs in each and every season. And I think after seeing their last match where they started to pick up steam, I think in the second half of the tournament, as Monty Paji also mentioned earlier, there are some teams which will make up ground in the second half of the tournament. I feel CSK will make up ground and will be in the top four. That's my take.
I think CSK fans listening to you will be very happy and will definitely have the
Whistle for
hopes.
two.
Whistle Podu, yeah,
Whistle for two.
Thalai. Whistle Podu and
We
Thalai.
want to see Dhoni fires.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a great fan of Dhoni.
Paji, any prediction when will Dhoni fire? We've seen flashes of brilliance, but
Yeah, he'll fire this weekend. So you'll see the best of Dhoni. I know you CSK fans are desperate to see him perform. So
will he be coming at number
we'll
4?
make sure of that this weekend.
Will he be coming
Yeah,
at number 4?
all 8 teams will be seen this weekend, right?
Yes. So Paji, will he be coming at number 4?
Well, I've always said he needs to stay at 4 once he finds his groove, and then possibly he can go down the order. But yeah, if he can bat at 4, then we can definitely help him.
Okay, so I have the last question of the day from Ayush, which I'm reading out. Sir, do you think that RR, instead of spending crores on overseas players, don't you think that RR should spend money on the Indian marquee players and big names on coaching, like Delhi Capitals roped in Ponting, and now that man has built almost an Indian core like MI. So no disrespect for Amol Majumdar and company, but still, like we don't say by looking at RR anytime that this time they can't lift the trophy, as we are saying for DC this year.
I would have appreciated a comma or a full stop somewhere in between there. I can't figure this question out.
Yes. So basically, the question is, I'm giving you the crux of the question that shouldn't RR spend crores or the money on the Indian marquee players?
It's like what it's. Look, it looks all good, doesn't it, when Ricky Ponting builds a team and everyone's thinking that's what we should follow. But I think every team has their own strategy, own game plan. Stick to what you feel comfortable and try and build your team there. They've invested so much money in overseas players, so they need to build that team around it. And they're not far away. Jofra Archer's are performing well. Josh Butler's doing well. Steve Smith hasn't actually performed that well. And it will take someone with a bit of a guts or himself to say, actually, you know what?
I'm sorry to intervene, but don't you think Steve Smith is trying to clobber the ball really hard on the leg side, which is not his natural characteristic of batting? Rather than timing the ball, he's just going for clobbering it hard.
Yeah, he's just probably trying a bit too hard. Like they are, the Rajasthan Royals, if they fire, can be completely destructive. But if they don't, then they kind of like they don't really have much of a sort of depth in the team. So what do you do when your overseas players aren't performing? How do we win a game of cricket then? And that's the area that I think Rajasthan Royals need to work upon. It's easy, when all the overseas are performing, then yeah, we've won the game. But there needs to be a second plan where they think, right, if Steve Smith isn't performing, or our relying heavily on overseas players, and we're not going to win games. How can we win games with the other players in the team? What is going to be that way of doing it? And I think that's where Rajasthan Royals are lacking. They really need to think, okay, how do we win a game of cricket effectively? With 10 players, one of the overseas players doesn't perform, or possibly 9 players, and it's this is where I think the likes of Mumbai Indians, Delhi Capitals, even Punjab Kings, it's being strategic. You've got Andrew McDonald, who's an all-rounder. He likes all-rounders. He's going to base his team around all-rounders because he is more of an all-rounder himself. But how is he going to get the best out of the team when it doesn't fit his style of thinking? Punjab Kings 11 only been a little bit off. I think Punjab Kings, after Delhi Capitals, are the best developed team because they've got Anil Kumble there, got the young leggies, right? You've got Andrew Flower, great coach, getting the bat into fire. Someone just needs to know how to get Glenn Maxwell to fire. So with Rajasthan Royals, you kind of think, well, if the overseas don't perform well, why isn't Robin Atupatu or Sanju Samson winning us the game of cricket? These are experienced players, right? So why aren't you guys going out there to win the game of cricket for us? So Rajasthan Royals should be in the top 14. They're like, you look at their team, probably one of the most complete sides after Mumbai Indians, but they're just not putting, they're not gelling the whole team together. So this is my concern. These are the questions I'll be asking.
And
Robin,
Paji, RR is also only the only team probably who has fixed 4 overseas players: Josh Butler, Steve Smith, Jofra Archer, Ben Stokes. Their 4 overseas were fixed right before the tournament started. And adding to the question, the next part of the question was that should RR not spend huge amounts roping in experienced coaches, big names in the coaching unit?
Look, I'm thinking they need a good batting coach. That's what I'm thinking. Because the likes of some of the batsmen are not firing. They started really well with Sanju Samsung, and so who's a good batting coach out there? Like one guy comes to mind is like Yuvraj Singh. He's a great player. He knows how to build an innings. Good explosive batsman. Is there a role for him to be a batting coach at Rajasthan Royals for next year?
Let's see. So
Yeah, he could also help with the pie chucking.
Well, definitely. He was a pie chucker. Trust me, I faced him and I thought, how the hell do you get wickets with this rubbish bowling? He was a rubbish spinner.
Golden
Singh is king, Paji. Singh is always king.
Stuart Broad, what he said to Stuart Broad after hitting him for 6 sixes, he says, I don't care if somebody hits me for 6 sixes. I'm a pie chucker, but you are a regular big time bowler, and I've hit you for 6 sixes.
Yeah, look, this is a greatness of Yuvraj Singh, and this is a huge disappointment. We're like, where is Yuvraj Singh? Why isn't someone like of Rajasthan Royals? Why don't they, get him back playing again? I don't know. Is he looking to make a comeback into cricket? I heard he's trying to come out of retirement. You've got the T20 domestic competition starting. Now, I will be looking close eyes on Yuvraj Singh's performances. If he half performs in that tournament, actually, has he got his thingy back? Is he allowed to play domestic cricket again? Has he got permission?
He's expressed a desire to come out of retirement.
Yeah.
I read that.
So Ganguly hasn't given him the authority yet.
Still, it's not clear. It's not clear.
Yes.
But he's expressed a desire to come out of retirement, that's for sure. Whether he's been allowed to come into any team or not, that is not sure.
Actually, Punjab Association requested him. Right?
Yeah, for playing for the Punjab state team in the Ranji Trophy.
Right.
And has he been granted permission?
That's not clear yet.
Still, I don't have any clear report as
Right.
far as now. I don't have any clear report. So now I'll move to Shirish sir and Rahul for last comments before wrapping up. Shirish
Okay,
sir, what's your point?
yes.
You commented more than enough. I think it's time for me to get to bed because we have to talk about badminton tomorrow at
So,
10:30 in the morning.
so yeah. So before wrapping up the show, I'd like to again inform the viewers that tomorrow we'll be analyzing the fourth day of the Denmark Open, badminton tournament, which has started after this post-COVID. And tomorrow we'll be analyzing which series are only at 10:30 a.m. right on this YouTube channel, Go Beyond Sports. So stay tuned. And thanks a lot, Paji, Rahul, Shiri
Yeah.
sir, and Ayushi, and all the other viewers for coming in. And please subscribe the channel and tune in every day at
Thank you.
11:45 p.m. for this post-match
See you in the
analysis.
next MI match. I will see you.
It was a great pleasure interacting with you, Monty Paji. Really enjoyed
Pleasure.
it. Really
Great.
enjoyed
Thank you. Great. Thank you. See
Thank
you
you,
guys
Paji.
tomorrow.
Thank you, Shiri sir.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Okay, bye. Good night. Goodbye to you.